Hey guys, it's Nicholas here. Let me start by asking you a question. So we're obviously just under 2 weeks away from election day in the US, although people have already started voting. But what I want to ask you is, who do you think is going to win? Let me know in the comment section down below, unless of course you're watching this after the election, then that would be cheating. But pay attention to that question, because I'm asking you who you think is going to win. Not who you would vote for, not who you want to win, but who do you think actually will win? And we asked the same question in our Instagram story on Tuesday. And by the way, if you're not following us on Instagram, please do. It's at Duomo Initiative. You can also find a link in the description box down below. But basically, we did that in a poll on Tuesday and Trump came out massively on top. So if someone could tweet the president and let him know that he's ahead on our polls, that would be great. We'd love that exposure. But secondly, that result actually surprised me because when you look at other polls, the proper polls, not our silly Instagram story one, then you can find that Biden is comfortably ahead at the moment in most of those polls. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to win because we all know now that polls can be wrong and they often are. And also this election is going to be a little bit more complicated than just a popular vote. So this made me wonder, are people answering based on their bias for who they want to win or who they're voting for? Or were they really putting who they think is going to win? And in that case, have they done some sort of analysis for that? Now, I'll explain in a second why I'm starting with this example and what relevance it all has. But basically, all of this is to kick off a lot of videos that we're going to be releasing almost every day, since we realize that most of our viewers and our members are focused on technical analysis for their trading decisions. And no matter how much I try to encourage them to look at the fundamentals, they still don't, either because they don't have the time, they don't know what they're looking at, or they just can't be bothered. But basically, I thought we'd fill that in for everyone and start explaining the fundamentals for you instead. So even if you're not doing your own fundamentals, at least you're being able to stay on top of things. So we're going to be releasing videos more often, breaking down the news, giving our views on what it means for the markets and how it has been or will be or is likely to be moving things in the future. So that way you can be aware of what's going on, which is extra important right now because there are so many important economic and political things in play at the moment that could be really disruptive for the markets. And if you're not aware of them, you're putting your own trading performance at risk. So at least this way you can stay on top of things. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you get those videos. There's going to be a lot of them coming out about a range of different topics, and we'll be trying to be unbiased about the topics themselves. Our opinion is only going to be about how it's likely to move the markets, not about the actual topic. And so this brings me back onto the way we started this video, the question about the election. You see, you might have a bias about a particular topic because of your beliefs or political affiliation, or even because you have a strong view because of the analysis you've done. But that doesn't necessarily have to align with the way that you see that opportunity playing out in the markets. I think this is best explained by the famous economist John Maynard Keynes, who gave an analogy about a beauty contest. So he explained this fictional situation where readers of a newspaper are shown 100 photos of people's faces, and they have to choose the 6 most attractive faces. And if they happen to pick the most popular faces, they're going to be in the running to win a prize. So in that case, a naive strategy in that situation would be to pick the 6 faces that you personally find attractive. That would be first level thinking. A more sophisticated strategy would be to think about which faces the majority of people are likely to find attractive. In other words, you're not choosing the faces that you find attractive, but the ones that you think the majority are going to find attractive. Now that's second level thinking. But then we can take that a step further to third level thinking. If you think that other people are also going to be voting based on what they think the majority will find attractive rather than what they will find attractive, then this may change the choices you make when you think about the way that they're voting. And so you can take it a step further, that's third level thinking, but then you can think about how those people will think about it and so on and so on. Now, they actually ran an experiment testing this approach in the Financial Times, and it's a really interesting read. Check it out when you have time, I'll link it in the description box for you. But basically, Keynes believed that this is what happens in the stock market as well. People aren't pricing things based on what they think the fundamental value is in an asset, but what they think everyone else thinks the value is in that asset, or what everyone else thinks the value is in that asset. Do you get the point? So why am I telling you all of this now? Well, because it's important as we start to dive into the fundamentals and talk about how financial news is moving the markets or how it's likely to, we need to keep these points in mind. This is all to do with whether things are priced in or not and how they're going to be priced in. So if you do your analysis and you think Trump is going to win or Biden is going to win, that's great. But you wouldn't necessarily take a position on that unless you can figure out what the market thinks. Maybe the market agrees with you and it's already priced in, so there's no opportunity there. Or perhaps it's not. Maybe you see that a Democratic victory or Republican victory is going to be doing one thing or another for the economy, and so you expect that it's going to be better or worse for the markets. But what will the markets perceive it as? Will they agree with you? You see, in many cases, fundamental analysis isn't just about what view you have on the assets, but you have to go for second or third level thinking and try to figure out what the market also thinks. And so I think this is a really good point to keep in mind as a precursor to us now starting those fundamental videos. We have some really critical topics out there right now where different outcomes can lead to massive shifts in different economies. Not just the coronavirus situation, but also the US election, Brexit negotiations, stimulus packages, central bank actions, and many more. And I can't wait to dig into these topics with you. So let's get started. Subscribe if you don't want to miss those videos. Hit the thumbs up button if you're looking forward to them as well. And I'll see you in the first one. See you then.